what's Missin Curfew? It's when you kind of play guilty, but you show up.
How nice is a green light on the road, though? No practice tomorrow, no plane, just go.
Scotty Upshaw in the clear, and he scores! Right in front, scores!
A few laughs, a little bit of fun, and obviously a lot of hockey talk.
You're listening to Missin Curfew.
Coming to you from Hall Pass Media in beautiful Newport Beach, this is Missin Curfew. I got Printzy, Kyle, and Morgan as always in the booth. It is good to be back. Fellas, what a weekend. Football is back. Fuck Printzy, we were drunk the entire weekend, it felt like, weren't we?
I thought it was going to be a bit of an easy weekend, a little bit more business casual. It was not, fella. It was not.
We kept that buzz going. The weed pen was humming. I started with the margaritas. I leaned into the Crown and Gingies. It was just, I rode my bike home. I had to do the old one eye getting down the hill, but it was a fun weekend. And fellas, first and foremost here at Missin Curfew, I know the Updog's been away for a couple weeks. Some people have been asking if he's okay. The Updog is fine. Originally he missed the first week back. He was moving his family back from Aspen. They were pretty much there the entire summer. His beautiful daughter Izzy is in school. Beckham is a savage and all over the place. His wife was out of town. So Updog is good. He's just busy. That's why he hasn't been in the studio right now. So anybody that was worried about the Updog, I just wanted to give you guys an update. He is fine. He's just buzzing around Newport Beach, taking care of two kids. So co-hosting today, I'm excited about this one, fellas. A kid that has been on the podcast before, a kid that played the game, glue guy in the dressing room, and a kid that works his balls off in this line of work. He's always posting stuff. He's always working hard. He's hilarious. Would have loved to play with this guy. Jordan Schmaltz, a.k.a. Jay Swish. Fella, nice to see ya. Hey, and thanks for dressing up, eh? That's business casual.
Thanks for dressing up.
No, hey, listen, no ties here at Missin Curfew. You don't have to wear a tie.
No, and I might even have a nipple slip here. But first and foremost, boys, long-time listener, first-time caller, Obes, Printzy, Kyle, thanks for having me. Obviously missing the Updog today, but Obi, honestly, man, it kind of feels like my first call-up. Like, I've been working on my game down in Toledo, just waiting for the call. Hey, talking to my D coach, talking to the GM, my agent, my dad, what do I got to do? Do I got to fight a little more? Or how do I get more minutes? How do I get up in the lineup so I can get that call-up? But no, boys, it's good. It's feels like my first game. Oh, it's what I got to throw on the board here. Is it 500? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's almost too much right now. I mean, a little less for right now until we get your contract officially figured out. But 500 that was when I put on the board for my first NHL game. I threw up 500. Wasn't exactly, signed for, I think my signing bonus, Jay Swish, was 150. And when I went to training camp after 3 years in the jungle, I don't even know if I had $10,000 in my checking account when I made that team. So I was like, I go to Getsy and the boys, I'm like, fellas, like, haven't been paid yet. I don't even know how much money I have. They're like, just throw 500 up there. So if you threw 500 on the board for Missin Curfew, that would be National League, fella.
You're taking out money from your investment side just to pay for the Canadian club on the weekends. I shuffled some money over, fella. I need a little bit more, but no, Obes, it's great to be here, man. Obviously, I'm going no bucket for this one. Get my high steppers going, getting it going. So thanks for having me, man. It's I can't wait to rock this. Let's get it on, baby.
Yeah, Jay Swish. I didn't know what I was like. I can't wait to see what the guy's going to wear. The trademark Jay Swish shades, I appreciate, but I do appreciate you pulling out the business coat, the dress shirt. I like the change. That's a look. If we're coming off the bus and we're walking into the Honda Center or Staples and you're walking like that, I feel like back in the day we got maybe a 1-0 lead, or we're +1 heading into the bar and you looking like that, fella.
Yeah, this is like a Southern California road trip, maybe Arizona swing. It's probably the last leg of the weekend, so you probably have a night out, right, in Old Town. Maybe you're Newport. Maybe you're heading to Hollywood, and I'm already 3 buttons down because I know I'm only playing 10 to 12 minutes. I might not even break a sweat, but that LA looks is going to be in the hair after, and I'm looking to fuck. That's how I'm looking right now.
How bad was that LA look? Speaking of that, like when I first got in the league, I would use it, and then I finally, a couple years in the league, I'm like, I'm looking my chops to get out on the road. I'm like, I had to bring my own, back then I think I used the American Crew, but that LA looks in the dressing room was just a tough look. For my thin hair, it might be okay with that thick head of hair you got, but for a guy that's hanging on here, that LA looks was not perfect.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I got a U.S. Open, like, rough mop, right? So it's pretty sick up there. But, yeah, I just think that L.A. Lux was brutal. Then they had, like, the Axe spray. So you always had to have your own toiletry kit, especially, again, if you were going out after. You always got to come prepared.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah, the fact that he used to bring his own Vaseline, and he would just take his Vaseline, put it in the hair right after, and he'd be ready to rock. I'm like, fuck, that's all it takes. A little Vaseline, slicker back, get the beard going, and the fact that he was ready to hum.
Get the beard going, a little Cialis, ready to go, baby. Feeling good, feeling light.
Back back then, if you got a big win, that was like the Seattle say. You just like, you're like, fuck, big win Saturday night, no practice tomorrow. You're like, let's go, boys, let's just go. Hey, let's just go.
No, we're not holding back here. Give me the green light, or I'm running the red. Let's
exactly. Jay Swiss, buddy, you've been on our radar at Missin Curfew for the last year since we've got to know you. It's something that me and the Updog have talked about a lot. So listen, first of all, I love the hockey night in Scottsdale, the Live in 5. I love what you guys do and the content you put up. I guess where I'm going with this is like, did you know you wanted to do this right when you retired? Before we get into our little intro here, is this something you always had passion for? Because I love your work ethic, and it seems like this is what you want.
100%. And I think when I kind of walked away from playing hockey, obviously had a concussion. I don't know if it's obvious, but I kind of dealt with that in Switzerland my last year, and I was kind of looking to maybe make a pivot and get into media. Did I really know what that looked like? Not really, but something with a podcast, something in hockey, because I do still love the game. And it kind of dates back to junior Obes. I was playing in Sioux City, Iowa, in Green Bay, and I used to have this show. It was called Bar Deezy's Basement Live, because I lived in this guy's house, and his name was Mike Barazia. So I lived in his house, and I was in the basement, and I had 2 other roommates. So we used to do a live show on Facebook. Not live, but put out a show once a week. And by like the 3rd or 4th week, the whole USHL was watching this show. So I've always wanted to do something in media, whether it was, being a broadcaster, coming on here, snapping it tape to tape with a fella like you, or just, coming up with skits and different things, and try to use your humor, because, that's something that you miss, especially not being in the dressing room with guys like yourself, and just those one-liners, always trying to have the funniest joke. That was always invaluable to me,
Yeah, no, you would have been a great guy to play with. And like you said, maybe sometimes looking back, coaches might have said to me or a guy like you that maybe we didn't take it, serious enough at times. But for me, it's like, listen, especially the National League, it's the best league in the world. Yeah, we lost last night, but I'm not coming in here today fucking hanging maybe if we lost 4 or 5 straight, I'd be like, all right, boys, let's figure this fucking thing out. But I always like the guys that came in the rink, and, those guys are important to keep the mojo going, because when you're losing in the NHL, it's easy to get down everyone. You need guys in the room like yourself that keep you kind of going. So I wish I would have played with you, fella. This is the closest thing we're going to get, so I'm excited to have you. I got to ask you, you played the Sandbagger with Witt and Biz and the boys there. I saw the clips. They were fucking hilarious. I mean, you and Heat Daddy, where you come up with these Craig buttoned up and all this shit, I was fucking dying. But Witt's game's pretty good, huh? What's Witt's handicap?
Well, I mean, the whole thing was kind of bullshit, Obes, to be honest. Witt, first of all, we teed off at 6 a.m. off the box.
What?
At the Wynn in Vegas. Oh, yeah. So Heat Daddy was actually down at the bar at Scissors at 3:30 in the morning pregame. He's like, you coming down for the pregame? I'm like, fella, we got to leave here at 5:30. There's no way I'm coming down for the pregame of a 6 a.m. round. So I flew in actually right after a 5-day bender with my North Dakota buddy. So I was coming in hot. And, we get there, we get to the tee box, we start crushing Pink Witt, all the drinks. You get a little Faderade in me, I like to call it. But Witt buys in as a 3. Now, Witt is not a 3. Witt's probably at least a scratch. He might even be a +1. So the strokes, how they worked out, I'm like a sneaky 12 or 13 with a flat stick, maybe the best in the valley down here in Scottsdale, but I can't get off the tee. I carry 2 big sticks, and it's either a powered tug or a banana slice. So I got that problem with me, and Heat Daddy hadn't played golf in 3 or 4 years, so he's buying it as a bad 36 cap, with all due respect.
Yeah.
So I'm basically playing Witt straight up, because we're playing best ball. So the strokes had to get all realigned. I think we were getting 1 a hole, and then Heat Daddy would get a mulligan shot per hole. But it actually came down to the 18th hole. We took it to 19th, and it ended up in a tie. So there is room, and maybe an invitation for part 2, a rematch, and another Sandbagger featuring the boys. But it was hilarious. We ran into UFC fighters like Justin Gaethje,
saw that,
and another guy, and
Cormier. It was Cormier. It was Cormier.
What's that?
It was Cormier, right? Gaethje.
Yeah, Cormier. Yes.
Those guys are.
The whole round took 8 hours though, because we were drunk as hell, So it was just it was good though. It was fun.
Yeah, I saw the clips. You guys were hilarious. 6 a.m. tee time. I mean, next time I bump into those 2 guys, I got to be like, what the fuck are you thinking? 6 a.m. in Vegas?
Yeah,
I mean, maybe if you want to beat the Heat, if you want to beat the
There's one of those days where you could probably cook a turkey in your glove compartment of your car, so you kind of just got to, roll with the punches and get off the box early. You got that one. Hey,
I would. Yeah, I was a little late. I would have said, listen, boys, because it stays sunny there till fucking 10 o'clock. I said 4 o'clock tee time, boys. A little twilight golf.
Yeah.
That way the back nines. 6 a.m. in Vegas. I mean, unless there was a day I would have just went right to the first tee. I mean, that's the play, right? You just go right from Marquee to the Rhino to the tee.
Yes.
And you're like, all right, boys, let's just fucking compete here today. Let's just compete.
Yeah, you get a full body release and you go right to the first tee. Heat Daddy, though, was the part that they didn't put in there because there was a lot of good stuff that, gets cut out. But the one part that was hilarious was for probably 30 minutes, like mid-round, we're on a hole and we're like, where's Heat Daddy? And he's just wheeling the cart girl the whole time. Like, I think he was trying to take her to, upstairs to Encore mid-round. It was unbelievable. We're like, we can't put that in there. I'm like, fuck, that was like one of the best parts. So, no, it was a shit show for the people that watched. Obviously, it was good. It got a little off the rails as it always does, but it ended up being a decent match.
Yeah, I thought you guys killed it. Never played that wind track. I've saw it from my hotel room or my suites at the Encore, looking down many mornings, being like, "Fuck, that's a nice looking track. I wish I wasn't still up here at 7. I might play that today." But how is that track?
It's nice. I mean, yeah, the felt there's pretty good. I mean, I think they're charging about $1,400 though now per round, so it's pretty steep.
That's more than Shadow Creek.
Yeah, it's steep, fella. So, I mean, for that price of admission, I guess if you're walking right up the strip and, off a couple of sniffers, it's not bad. But I don't know if I would pay that anywhere, outside Vegas on the strip. Like to me, it was like it's probably worth $300-400.
Yeah, I mean, listen, to play Pebble Beach, I think now is like $550. So you can't be paying $1,400 to play the win.
No,
I mean, I've seen it's not that much of an experience, but you guys killed it. I thought it was great content, which you and Heat Daddy do unbelievably. Jay Swish, I got to ask you, fella. I woke up this morning, had a nice swim. I'm a swimmer now. And ever since I retired, it's good for the body. Then I jumped in the cold tub and I grabbed my vanilla latte, ice stay with a little almond milk in there. And I'm like, fuck, I'm excited to have Jay Swish on. Printzy's here, Kyle Morgan. I felt so good. Listen, looking back on my career, I made lots of mistakes, right? Lots of things I probably should have done differently. Cold tubs is one of them. I used to look back at these guys having cold tubs. I'm like, you're a fucking nerd. Like, what? That's all mental. But what are you doing, bud? Like, let's go have a couple beers. You're fucking I love them now. They're unbelievable. I guess where I'm going with this, did you use them when you played, or do you use them now? Because to me, I wish I would have done it later in my career, especially younger. I felt fine, but later on, when the legs got a little heavy and the boots got a little slower, cold tub could have been the difference.
Yeah, I used them Obes a little bit, especially at North Dakota. We'd always get in the cold tub and, get them up to your nipples and then go out to the -40. It was just like, oh, I'd be so goddamn cold. So after that, I kind of got away from it the first couple of years pro. And I was kind of always I wasn't a guy that was consistent with it. But now that I've gotten out of the game, and especially where I live, they have a cold tub here. I just get right in there, man, right up to right up to the neck like Ilya Kovalchuk, and just go in there for about 3 minutes, 3 and a hook. And like you said, man, you come out of there feeling so good. And I actually like to do the contrast, where you go hot, cold, and then kind of just mix it up that way because, you're flushing the system a little bit more, I think.
We call that next level. Yeah, the only thing about coming out of the cold tub is you don't want any chicks around, when you come out of the cold tub.
No.
Because you're not...
Right? Because you have to end with, get the little fluff going, right? Your balls up there in the rough, fluff it up. You know who used to do the cold tub between every period? The guy Ryan O'Reilly.
The Fat Danny. Yeah, the Fat Danny loved the cold tub.
He would shed the laundry and get in there after every period, man. Talk about commitment. So I wonder why that guy's so good.
No, I know. He never did that when we played in Denver because we was still just a young pup. But you knew who did that? My boy PJ told me, Patty Marlowe. Between every period near the end of his career, and I wonder if he played, what did he play, 1,500 games or 2,000? I don't even know what he played. A lot.
Played almost 2,000.
Yeah. He said between every period as he got older, he'd jump in the cold tub for 2 or 3 minutes, and I was like, fuck, I wish I would have thought. You know what I did, Jay Swiss? Just the Flexol, bud. I get the Flexol out, put it all over the place, get it on the ball sack, and be like, oh, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go tonight. Yeah.
Flexol and a Sudafed, and I'm ready to go. I'm just bug eyes. Let's play. Let's play. Drop the pill.
That was my pregame. That was my pregame ritual, too. Hey, listen, I was listening to the Nelk Boys, and they had Dana White on, who I absolutely love, Dana White. I think he's the man. And he had Bob Menery on there, who I think is a bit of a goof, but Dana's always given it to him. Dana White offered Bob Menery $10,000 to do a cold tub for 10 minutes. You think you could crush that?
I think I could.
Yeah, if Dana White said, Jay Swish, I'm going to give you $10,000 for 10 minutes in the cold tub. I think he said his cold tub, Jay Swish, was at 44, though. You think you could hammer that out for 10?
I got hammered out for 20, whatever you want, baby. I'll get in there. For 10 minutes? Don't be a pussy.
I know that. Menery's like, no chance.
Yeah, is it full body in there, or is it, what are you doing?
Up to your neck, up to your neck. Yeah, just Dana White wasn't trying to pull any fast ones on him. He just said, get in there. If you can do it for 10 minutes, I'll give you $10,000. And Menery's like, nah, I can't do it. He didn't even try, I don't think. I'm like, you got to get in there, at least give it an effort for 10 G's.
Yeah, I mean, if there's someone there, if you pass out, they can just revive you right there. Who cares?
Exactly.
I mean, that's $1,000 a minute we're talking. Like,
Right?
What do we, I don't care how rich you are.
Yeah, that's more than a doctor makes, right? Fuck, just get in there. Just get in there.
One bottle. That's like one bottle at XS. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Take that right to the wet deck.
you're like, boys, you can have the cold tub. You're like, boys, let's go. Wet Republic, it's on me today. Fucking dick.
Imagine you had the cold tub set up at Wet Republic for the celly after all the sparklers and everything.
Dude,
That'd be unreal.
By the way, you might be onto something there. A little cold tub during the hot days of summer. You got just a little cold tub in there. Like, fuck, boys, I'm starting to overeat. I'm gonna have a 3-minute here. Hey, pass me my drink.
Yeah, I don't want to have a jammer here. They got the cold tub right there for you.
No kidding. There was a couple mornings in Vegas where I could have used the cold tub. Where I'm like, the cold shower wasn't doing it. I'm like, this could go either way here. Hey, I can.
This is getting a little dicey mayo, I'd like to call it.
Oh, Jay Swiss, you're a beauty. Printzy, let's turn it over to you for a second here, fella. Orange County's had Printzy. Hey, Jay Swiss, Printzy came out. It was the hottest day in the history of Orange County. The big Alberta Bear was sweating. Yeah. But Printzy, how's your time? How's your time been? And I got to ask you, what'd you think of that Cassidy's burger?
The time has been great, Obes. It's always a good time coming down to see you guys, get to see fresh faces. Yes, you are correct. It is the hottest I've ever been anywhere in my life here. The big Alberta Bear has some trouble out in the heat there, but you've taken me some awesome places. I finally got to go to Cassidy's, the Wild Goose. The Cassidy's burger was unreal, man. Absolutely unreal. Sounds like you guys have been going there for a couple of years now, eh?
Yeah, Jay Swish, when you come out, I'll take you to this place. It's a best burger in Newport, but also it's an old dive bar. And, back in the day when me, Loops, and the Updog were going Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every weekend as hard as we could go, we'd wake up Sunday, you go bike right to Cassidy's, have a burger, and they have the stiffest cocktails in the league. So you go there, you get the burger in you, you start back then, I think I was drinking gin, little double gin and soda. You don't even need a double, just a gin and soda, another gin and soda. By the time you get to your third, you're ready. You're right back in it for a Sunday afternoon, just to let it go. It's the ultimate hangover cure back in the day.
Yeah, you're right. You're right back in the high slot.
You're right in the high slot.
Right, right in Holly's office, right there.
And then he just took it right from there, right to Stag Bar. I never took Printzy to Stag Bar because it's not what it used to be. But Printzy, did you like Tiki Bar, fella?
That was a good recommendation. It's a good recommendation for a guy to go in there and enjoy my surroundings for a little bit, get in, get out, have some fun. But you were headed to the football game, so you kind of sent me to a little dive bar with a good view.
I've never been to this place, Jay Swish. So listen, it's Tiki Bar. It's like Hooters on steroids kind of place, right?
Okay.
And I've never been there for whatever reason. I don't even really know. Like, I don't know why I've never been there. A lot of my golf buddies go there, and I had to go to the SC game with my boy Pickup, Moody, and Danny Lane and Will Tipton. And I said, Printzy, just go over. I said, first of all, go to Shamrocks for some live music, and then take it right from Shamrocks, which is there, take it right up the hill to Tiki Bar, and you have a nice night. He didn't even go to Shamrocks. He was so excited for Tiki Bar. You didn't care about the live music, did you? You didn't care about the live music, did you?
No, I was on a mission. I knew exactly what I was doing. So I went straight there.
Printzy didn't even take the parlay on that one. He just went full Johnny Chan on that and right over the Tiki.
Yeah, I went anytime goal scorer on that.
Yeah, and then what'd you think of the Wild Goose on the it was hot at the Goose? But that used to be my go-to place, Printzy and Kyle. That was a little bit of a different crowd nowadays, boys. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know. It just wasn't like. I'll be honest. I didn't see as many broads as I used to see in there. To be honest with you.
Well, that was my second experience at the Wild Goose, and my first one was with the Updog. When I came down here last time, and we made it way past closed that time. I don't even remember how I got home, so it was a little bit of a different experience this time. It was during the day. It was a little hot out. Good football games on, but then we had the whole crew there. I'm glad that I finally got to meet Loops.
Yeah,
a lot of people when they meet me, they think that I've met Loops many times, but I actually haven't met him in person before. So it was great to finally meet Loops. He does appreciate all the stuff that I do post, even though he doesn't see a whole lot of it. But Loops,
he sees it. He just forgets that he saw it.
Yeah. So. I see him chiming in the comments and stuff. So, but he knows I try not to bury him as much as I can. But
no, you've found some great stuff on Loops over the years, man. Like some stuff about him playing a guitar on a bridge in Philadelphia. I was like, where did Printzy scoop that one from? But anytime he chimes in, Printzy, it's just usually to chirp me, huh? Yeah, it's the only time he ever fucking chimes in.
Yeah, he's usually chirping you. Usually if Flowers is fucking around in the comments, he usually comes in and gives him a whack in the back of the leg. So he's in there every now and then. But to see him and to see Big PJ again, I love seeing PJ. I've met him many, many times now, and he's always been great to me. And it was a great afternoon, Obes. But one thing I got to tell you, Obes, we got to move on here. So you've taken care of me a lot during my time when I come down here. You take care of me. You let me come down to the Bay Club, watch some football with you. I got to return the favor here. So I'm sending Kyle in with a gift that I found out of a collection that I have in my home. J Swish, you are gonna love this, J Swish. Just wait till Hope season. Let's see it. Show it to the camera.
Buddy.
No way. Purple Rain, is that a...
It's a record.
Purple rain. Purple rain.
It's just spread eagle up.
He's just spread eagle up, dog. Yeah, wow, Printzy, that's
unreal.
We got to keep this in the studio.
Yeah, I found it in my collection of vinyl.
Is this because you knew Jay Swish was coming on, or is this just a coincidence?
This is a pure coincidence.
Wow. Oh, Jay Swish. Look at that, fella.
I mean, fuck me. That is unbelievable.
Wow, that is unbelievable. Thank you, Printzy. That's cool. Yeah. Purple Rain. Purple Rain. I'll never forget. It was called the Cabaret to Jay Swish in Belleville, Ontario. But you would have been right there beside me, right in the old Sniffers Row and having a time.
Oh, yeah. Throwing out the toonies.
Printzy, that's classy, buddy. I appreciate it. Perfect timing with Jay Swish on. Last but not least, our little intro, boys. You know, obviously, it's been a tough, I guess week or 10 days or whatever it's been since we lost Johnny and Matty Gaudreaus. And Jackie Redmond did an unbelievable little tribute to Johnny Hockey last night at WWE Monday Night Raw outside the Saddle Dome. But Meredith Gaudreaus, for her to go up there and have the, courage and guts, I guess, to go up there and under those circumstances, I thought she did an unbelievable job. She's a very strong woman. She should be extremely proud of herself, how she handled it. I couldn't imagine doing that if, I lost my significant other or my brother or my sister or anything like that. And she went up there and said unbelievable things about Sean Monahan and Kevin Hayes, and you showed a lot of heart. And I just couldn't imagine getting up there, Jay Swish, and doing what she did. So she should be very proud of herself in a really, really obviously awful situation.
Yeah, and it's just, obviously the whole thing is so sad. And like you said, Obes, just the courage she showed and just, her overall, just what she is, her strength as a woman to get up there and talk and, to announce actually she's pregnant with their third child. And it's just, the whole situation is definitely hit the hockey community. And I don't know, I still can't really get over it, Obes. Just, he was, even Matty being a 1994 product, but Johnny was a guy that I played against my whole life. And not that I knew him, really well or just, kind of talked to him a little bit in passing, but he was always a guy that at every level I would see and I'd be like, there's no way he could do it. There's no way he could be that same player he was in AAA hockey. Then he'd go to junior and he'd be better. And be like, there's no way he could be the same player he was in Dubuque as he is at Boston College. And then he wins the Hobie Baker and then he goes to the show and what does he do? He scores in his first game for Printzy's Calgary Flames. Yeah. It's just, he was one of those guys, at least for me, man, like, even though he was the same age, he was a guy that I looked up to, and he was a guy, I'm not going to say in the same category as Kobe, but he was one of those guys that seemed larger than life to me. The guy's nickname was Johnny Hockey, and there was only one of those guys, and it's so sad, and, you saw the pictures and the videos of the family, and, Guy Gaudreaus and his wife, and, even the sister. It's just so sad, man, and it's just, this season should be dedicated to them and all those guys, even in Columbus, because they'll be going through it, and I just hope they can find peace.
Yeah, that's well said. And like you said about his father, and Printzy could contest to this, when he was in Calgary and visiting Johnny, he was always on Sportsnet, and they were doing interviews with him, and you could see how good of a guy he was. And I saw just a terrible picture of him walking out of there yesterday where someone had to, people had to hold him up. I can't imagine what he's going through. It's going to be tough for him, especially when hockey starts back up. But like you said about Johnny Hockey, unbelievable nickname, first of all. When I first heard it, I was like, wow, that's, obviously Johnny Football. Now we got Johnny Hockey. That's pretty sick. And I was with the Flames probably his last year at Boston College. And I remember hearing about, Johnny Gaudreaus and, this guy's good. I think he might have already won the Hobie Baker. He was the favorite for the Hobie Baker. And I looked him up and I'm like, he's 5 foot, fuck all, 100 nothing. I'm like, how good can this kid be, right? And kept my eye on him over the year, and he lit it up that year. And I got sent down to Abbey, back down to the jungle with our boy Troy G. Ward. And Johnny Hockey comes up for his first game against the Canucks, and he's out there, and I'm like, look how tiny this guy is. Like, this guy's, how, like you said, goes to the net, hits a skate, first goal, scores a goal. And then I played against him the next year when I was in Florida, and I was like, if I get a chance, I'm gonna, I want to show this kid what's up. And I don't remember how many shifts I got on him, but so smart, knew how to get out of the way, knew how to find that, little ice, and it was just like, you're like, okay, this guy has something that you can't teach, and you put that with his skill. And for me, not knowing him, you're a glue guy. I took pride in being a glue guy. Like, all his teammates absolutely loved him. He loved being at the rink. He loved the game. So, anyways, it was a terrible, terrible tragedy. But I just want to give Meredith Gaudreaus some love here from Missin Curfew. To the whole Gaudreaus family in the hockey world, we're still thinking about you. We'll be right back on Missin Curfew. Welcome back to Missin Curfew. Jay Swish, dog of the week here at Missin Curfew, fella. I'll set the tone here. Little F1 for you. You seal the wall. I got to go with Josh Allen, my boy. My quarterback. My fantasy team's called the Allen Wrench. You got to have a good wrench, Jay Swish. Hey, if you're gonna fucking play, you better have a good wrench, eh?
You got to be able to throw both and fuck hard, Obes, and that starts with a good wrench, right? I mean, that's a tale's old as time.
It sure does. And he got off to a little sluggish start. They were losing like 10-0 to the Cardinals. I was like, oh, here we go. And he just absolutely went off for me. 2 passing TDs, 2 rushing TDs. I mean, it's just like Superman out there. You talk about a guy who will sacrifice his body. Dinged up his left hand. He already said he's playing Thursday against the Fish. I'm like, this guy's unbelievable. Josh Allen, and to parlay Josh Allen, TJ Watt. I'm going to get into my bets here in our DraftKings segment next, but TJ Watt is a problem. He's a weapon, as you would say. He's a game wrecker, and he's also my Missin Curfew dog of the week. And right now, he's already, after week 1, overreaction, defensive player of the year, Jay Swish, because he was a goddamn menace out there.
Yeah, TJ Watt, good corn-fed Wisconsin cow-like fella. But you go back to Josh Allen, and he's a guy that probably, if you're coaching him, you're like, fella, like, get out of bounds or don't try to get that first down using your legs. Like, trust your arm in the pocket. But he's one of those guys, I think, that just loves the action, man. He's got to hit something. He's got to feel a little something. His balls tingle a little bit. So I like that pick. My dog of the week, now, it goes back to straight out of Dade County, Miami, out of the 305. I mean, if you're getting your chin put on the pavement before a game, and you got your arms behind your back, and your teammates are rolling up, and then 3-4 hours later, you dust off that white beater, you get into the stadium, and you take one 80 yards to the house, and then hit the I just got locked up Akon Selly. I mean, fuck me, man. That is my dog of the week. Tyreek, the Cheetah Hill. I mean, fuck, it was unbelievable. Tyreek, what a guy, dude. In his interview after, too, with Melanie Collins, he's like, you know, he kind of finished with like, hey, free reek, man, free reek. So it's just like, that guy, I mean, guy almost went into the clink. Comes out 4 hours later, takes a little protein shake. He takes one 80 yards to the house like it ain't no thing.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
No, well played by you. And first of all, like, what tint does he have on his windows? That is like, the windows were darker than the actual fucking, what was it, a Lambo or Ferrari?
Yeah, I would say that's stock 3%. You know what I mean? Like that's stock 3, because 5 is where you can kind of get a ticket for it, but that was lower than that.
I actually thought when I saw the footage of the body cam, I'm like, can he even see out those tinted windows? Like, that is so tinted that it's almost like, you know, who's out there? But I mean, the whole situation coming out with the body cam, like, I mean, I don't know what to think. His teammate, the big man that played in Arizona, the big defensive
17-year vet, I forget his name, but
Campbell or something.
Fella.
Clarence Campbell or something like that. He pulls over at his nasty, I think he had the Bentley SUV. He pulls that baby over. It was just a situation where I'm watching this going, how does this happen outside of the barn? Like they don't know who Tyreek Hill is. Like, should he roll his window down? Yeah, but how do you not know that this guy's just hustling to get to the fucking game and he's about to put on a goddamn clinic? And I liked the one part when they were trying to rough him up. He's like, I just had knee surgery, bro. I just had knee surgery, bro.
I mean, he's got about 400K around his neck, too. That thing came out of an absolute freezer, a deep freezer that Cheney had. So much ice on that. I mean, that might have been dry ice, how icy that thing was. But, yeah, that's my dog of the week, Obes. I just thought, like you said, if he just rolls down those windows, he probably gets away with it, and the cop doesn't have to, you know, whatever, do his thing and feel like he's the man and try to insert his toughness. But maybe he got back out there. And what'd he do? He took one to the hizzy. So that's all you can say.
I mean, he's a weapon, right? I mean, he is an absolute weapon. I saw a drill of him doing like a little cone drill in training camp. Like it was just like he was in and out, gone before. Like I was like, oh my God, this guy is a cheetah. But yeah, the one cop was being super tough guy, right? Like he came over like third man. He was third man in, Jay Swish. He came in third man.
That's 5 in a game.
That's fun. That's 5 in a game. We got to toss you for that. We'll toss you. Comes in over the top. Yanks him out of his Lambo or Ferrari. I was like, easy on him. Easy on a guy. Like, I mean, he's obviously, it's Tyreek Hill here. Like,
I mean, he should have rolled this double standard there.
Yeah, he should have rolled his window down, and it's a little too tinted, but let's just, it's Sunday week 1. Let's all be in a good mood here. I mean,
it's Tyreek Hill, Obes. Like, there should be a little bit of a double standard. This guy, you know, he's the best in the league.
I know. If you're the police chief of the Miami PD, do you call him in and say, fella, did you have a tough Saturday night? Is the old lady mad at you? Did you not Like, did you not get one off Sunday? Like, why were you so grumpy, bud? It's Florida in September. I mean, tough outfit too with the boots, eh? Like killer boots, man. Tough outfit. It's like Jay Swish. It's like the cops out here in Newport Beach. If you see the cops that are on the motorcycles out here with the boots, heads up, because they're looking for somebody, right? The other cops are chill. Those guys are looking to call somebody for a little hook or a little hole. They're looking for something.
Yeah, they're looking to pitch. Those boots come with a free bowl of soup. Holy fuck, fella. Go back to the stylist, eh?
Yeah. That just reminds me of Dumb and Dumber. You guys been doing a little boozing, have you? Hey, sucking back your grandpa's old cough medicine? Jay Smith, I love it, buddy. Listen, you said getting hit early. Going back to your playing days, for me, it was more, I didn't mind getting hit, but I wanted to give a hit, take it. Yeah, take a hit. Were you like that too early in the game? Either get a hit, take a hit, go in the corner, make a little play, get a little bump. Did that get you going?
Yeah, I think so. And especially, I wasn't the most physical guy out there. So I think even just taking a little hit or maybe, boxing a guy out, just giving a little cross check or a slash just to make sure I'm into this game, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can kind of get lost out there, especially being a skilled puck mover. Like, I got to engage or get hit or, maybe put someone's chin on the glass if I can. Just get engaged, Obes. Get that way physically, and then, the rest of the game kind of your legs follow.
What did Troy Ward say? Nose over pucks?
Nose over pucks, Schmaltzy. Like, Jesus, you're going into the corners and you're playing like you're a blind man.
On the end of your stick.
You're playing like you're a blind man with the walker. Get your nose over that puck, son. I'm like, fuck, you're right. I got to get in there. And fucking win a couple battles here.
Hey, listen, we got to have Troy G. Ward on.
Yes.
We will get him on. That will be absolute. I love that, man. As I know you do as well. Listen, were you a chirper when you played? Or were you more just whistle kind of, were you chirper from the bench? Were you chirping on the ice? What was your game like there?
Well, yeah, not so much a chirper, Obes. I mean, but if you do chirp me, you better become ready, right? Because I'm quick-witted. I'm going to have something for you. And
that's
I know probably everything about each player on the team. I was always the guy that I want to be prepared, have my homework done, right? Went to college. They teach you how to underline in college, not the fuck seat thing. But I always wanted to be prepared, and I wanted to have that in me just in case something happened. And then, you know what? Boom, strike right there.
Yeah, I was always good to take any chirp, right? Like I got a lot of fat chirps. O'Brien, you're fat. O'Brien, you're whatever, this and that. Mainly fat. But anytime I was dating a girl, I was always worried about playing against another team and being like, hey, O'Brien, your girlfriend, I took her for a spin a couple months ago. And then you're just like, oh God. There's no coming back from that one. Like because I did that to a couple guys out there when I played against them. I won't say their name, obviously, but I would zing them about their girl. And you could see in their eyes that there was like, oh, there's not much to say to that, right? You're like, what do you say to that? So anytime I had a girl, I was like, I hope someone doesn't trip me about, bagging back in the day.
100%. I was sitting there at DraftKings, actually, shout out to DraftKings, on Sunday with Lenny Berry and the Wizard. And Lenny Berry, I mean, you don't even have to put a quarter in that jukebox. He'll play all night.
Listen, I got a little Len Berry story myself, fella. So Len Berry, him and Orrin Cools, you remember Orrin Cools who did the Saw movies? They come in. They come in somehow and buy the Tampa Bay Lightning. They pull a fast one on Gary Bettman and say they got all this money, and they somehow buy the team. They fire John Tortorella. They fire Jay Feaster. They bring in Barry Melrose as their head coach. They trade away all their defensemen and bring in a bunch of forwards, like old school guys, Gary Roberts, Mark Recchi, like good fucking guys. And anyways, I ended up getting traded by Len Berry. So fast forward my year in Denver, Tyson Berry gets called up. He's my D partner. Tyson's like, what are you doing after the game? I said, I'm going back to my place, the Four Seasons. Little shout out to the Four Seasons. Come on over. She said, I got my dad with me. Is that okay? I said, sure. I'd love to talk to Len. So we drink all night, and now it's last man standing. It's me, Len. Tyson has already left. It's just me, Len, and maybe a couple other people hanging out. And I go, I got to ask you now, fella, after you drank that whole bottle of vodka of mine, why'd you trade me? What did I do? How bad of a camp did I have? You said, you're just partying too much. I said, you traded me for partying too much, Len. I go, holy fuck, buddy. Hey, like, what are you talking about? You're a guy's guy. He's like, no, maybe I shouldn't trade you. And then anytime he was in town, Jay Swish, over the next course of, I guess it was a year and a half, I played with Tice. He'd always end up back at my house. He's a good dude. But yeah, he traded me to the Vancouver Canucks. Traded me when I was in Prague too.
Oh God, right out of a fucking Czech tugger. Getting the news, eh?
Buddy, I fell in love about 4 times that trip. Jay Swish, they took us over there, believe this or not, 13 days before the game. Something like that. 13 days before we played the Rangers, we played Berlin, and we played a team in Bratislava. But other than that, it was just green light special. Finally, after the 10th day, Marty St. Louis calls me over. He said, "Obes, you cannot go out tonight." He's like, "They're going to trade. They're going to trade you." I'm like, "Well, if they're already telling you they're going to trade me, I mean, I might as well go out. I mean, it's the writing's on the wall here, fella.
Right. Yeah. I'm playing with the house's money at this point. Who were you going out with? Was this like?
Well, I was going out with Ryan Bugsy Malone.
Yeah.
Mike Smith was in there every now and then, not 10 straight. I mean, Bugsy went out 12 straight. I went out 10 straight. Vinny every now and then, but me and Bugsy were gone. And the thing about him, as you know, we've said this on the pod a lot, like, fucking guy, hungover or not, he played the same way, right?
Yeah.
Like, he just did it same way.
Yeah. He used to work out in Brainerd, and he'd burn it on both ends, and I would see it firsthand. I'm like, how is this guy so good? And then he'd be on the golf course and shoot 75. It's like, this guy, he ain't human. It's just Bugsy.
Nah, he was a machine.
Yeah, he was.
DraftKings, baby, presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours, fella. So, Jay Swish, you're hanging out at the sportsbook, the PK Sportsbook. It's unbelievable, dude. I need gambling to be legalized out here in California so I can get DraftKings to bring one of those sportsbooks right out to Newport Beach. But what a great place to hang out. Did you tickle some games, fella? How was your week one Sunday? Because you gotta tread carefully on week one. You don't want to get bent over too hard week one.
Yeah, and that was kind of my whole thing, Obes. And honestly, I got caught at that table, and I was listening to the Len Berry stories and also the Wizard shoot him off, which was unbelievable. But they have 47 TVs in there, and I wasn't even looking at one because I was just glued to the stories. But the one game I did take was Detroit -4 and a hook, and I was able to watch that game. And man, did they make me sweat it out. They got it done in the dirty there. It was a hell of a win. So that was my one lock that I kind of just threw out on Insta that day. But I saw you had Chicago, and you had maybe one more that might have hit too, no?
Yeah, hey, good bet on the Lions. That one was a tough one for me because I love Dan Campbell. Like, imagine playing for that guy, Jay Swish. Like, you wouldn't be hard to get motivated for him. I love Hutchinson. I mean, listen, the Lions, they were half a football away from going to the fucking dance for the Super Bowl. Like, they're going to be right there. I just thought Stafford going back to his old stomping grounds. Sean McVay's an unbelievable coach. Cooper Kupp, tell me that guy can't just find the little seam. You talk about finding that little seam, he can find that seam all night long. And I love my bet. They tie it up, they go into overtime, and now it comes down to the coin flip, eh? Because in the NFL, as everyone knows, if you score a touchdown first, the other team doesn't get to touch the rock. So I'm watching the coin flip. Boom, Lions, we'll take it. I'm like, oh, this is not good. And then they just started ramming it down their throat. So I went from sitting pretty, which I thought at +5. I got at +5. I bought the hook. All of a sudden, it's corn dog swishy. It's fucking good night, Jim Kite. Thanks for coming out, Obes. Good luck on the Monday Nighter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, get the ayahuasca reset and make sure you're ready to catch Aaron Rodgers coming into town. But yeah, Dan Campbell, going back to him, he for me is like what Craig Berube would be as a coach, right? I played for Chief in the minors and in St. Louis. Dan Campbell is that heart and soul guy that you want to run through a fucking wall for. And that's exactly what Berube is now in Toronto. So I just think like that's one of those guys that you just would really love to play for. And you know what? He's always going to have your boys back through the thick and the thin. That's the biggest part, Opes.
Yeah, I well said, and I couldn't agree more. And I can't wait to see what Chiefs brings to Toronto. And Jay Swish, we'll touch on that as we get closer to the season, the impact that Chiefs going to have on that team, along with Tanev, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. But Craig Berube, to me, is going to be a big difference maker. And these guys, after a couple of weeks, they might be praying for Sheldon Keefe to be back. Right? Marner might be like, holy fuck, I should have just played a little bit harder because this guy's crazy. Hey,
Opes, the truth hurts too, eh? With an ex-broad, someone, coach, the truth hurts, fella. It stings. And that's Chief lives within the truth and honesty, and that's something that team needs. So we'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
Yeah, we got to make a trip to the Big Smoke. We'll get there with my boy Travis. We'll have a time there. Maybe we'll stop there on our way to the Four Nations. Right? We'll go a little Toronto, stop in there for a little team building, and then we'll zip over for the USA Toronto game, USA Canada game on that Saturday. Maybe that's the play, fella.
Yeah, as you would say, in and out like a fiddler's elbow. Just one night in Toronto, get in and get out.
That's all you need. That's all.
A little charcuterie board. I don't need the appetizers. I don't even need the entree. Just give me the charcuterie. I'm out of here.
Give me the charcuterie and give me as many old fashions with one ice cube. AJ Swish with one ice cube, big old ice cube. That's all we need. We don't want that old fashioned with all those little ice cubes in there. That's not National League, is it?
I mean, we got out of Binghamton for a reason, boys. Are we in Syracuse? No, this is the National League. We're going one rock.
Is this Utica? Are we back? Are we back in Utica?
Why is there 20 rocks in this fucking drink?
Is this cold pizza on the floor again? Where the fuck are we here, boys? Hey, let's go. But
is this an RC Cola with an orange peel in it? What is this? This ain't a fucking old fashioned.
Oh, you're a beauty. So my bets, Jay Switch. I had the Bears -4. Won that one. Lost the Falcons. Won the Chargers money line. We talked about the Rams, and I took the 49ers money line. But real quick, you talk about ayahuasca. What'd you think of Rodgers? The one drive I thought, dude, here he's back. He's back. To me, when he was going back in the pocket, it didn't seem to be his foot speed was like mine, a little bit slower, but he can still spin it. There's no question he can still spin it.
Yeah, I mean, he's old, Obes. It's going to take him a little bit of time. 610 days. That's the last time he played or threw a touchdown in a game. So it's pretty remarkable that he's even back. Now, I don't know if he needs 1 or 2 more ayahuasca resets for the new year. We'll see on that front. It seems like that guy was getting ayahuasca like you were taking IVs after a road trip. It's like 1 a week, fella. Maybe tone her down a little. How high can you get? But
how much Toradol do you need, O'Brien? How much Toradol do you need in your IV, for fuck's sake?
Right. So I don't know. He looked okay to me. And I'm a big Aaron Rodgers guy, obviously being a cheesehead from Wisconsin. That's who I grew up watching, him and Brett Dick Pick Favre.
Yeah.
Those are my guys, right? So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I think the Jets, they have a little excitement around them, but it's going to depend on obviously number 8 there, and if he can get into mid-season form, the sooner the better.
Yeah, and dude, by the way, I thought the Jets D, I got their D in my fantasy, but the offensive line, like, give that Trent Williams credit. Guy doesn't do training camp. He weighs 300 some pounds. Like, goes out there, plays every snap. He had to get an IV in the fourth quarter, but other than that, I'm like, good for that big boy. Their offensive line dominated the Chiefs' D-line, which is one of the best in the league. But I'm with you. They need some time. You're a Wisconsin boy. I had the Packers against the Birds. Poor Jordan Love. He got lucky. He's only out for probably 4 weeks, right? But, like, they need him back, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was the BBL Bowl, I was calling it, the Brazilian Butt Lift Bowl down in Brazil. And those games are always so weird. You start off the season, you're in South America. It's just like, that's one game I think you got to stay away from because you have no idea what's going to go on. But good news is I think we dodged a bullet with Love. It seems like he's just going to be out a couple of weeks or whatever it is, if not ACL in terms of, he shied away from that. So we'll see, Obes. I mean, that team, they're rebuilding a little bit. Obviously, I think the Rodgers thing still stings, but Jay Love, I think he's going to be pretty good, man. He showed good promise.
Yeah, he can spin it too, and he played unbelievable in the second half. And obviously, they were in it too. They had the Niners in one as well, and let him off the hook. But Caleb Williams, I know you wanted to touch on him real quick, and I agree with what you got to say here, fella.
Yeah, I just think, first of all, I'm a little biased on this because I'm not a Bears guy at all. I'm a Packers guy, and I just think they're like the redheaded stepchild to begin with. So you look at Caleb Williams, and you look at your quarterback, and he shows up with painted nails. Now, I'm not telling you, who am I to say you can't paint your nails as a dude? Number one, I would never paint my nails. But if that's your starting quarterback, Obes, when's the last time you saw a set of nails that were painted on that mug, on a Stanley Cup, on an NBA championship, on a NFL championship? I mean, maybe Dennis Rodman could get away with that back in the day, but if that's my starting quarterback and you're painting your nails, something about a gladiator sport to me, that just shows a little bit of weakness to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe I'm cut from a different cloth. I think you would agree with me. I just think as a starting quarterback, you probably don't paint your nails, fella, especially being a rookie. Like, you haven't proved shit.
Yeah, especially being a fucking Schmaltz coming out your first game of the year. Like, I know that's kind of his thing from SC. Listen, my boys at Big Canyon love Caleb Williams, right? But to me, last year, he's crying on the sidelines. I'm like, dude, cry in the dressing room like we all do, right? Don't cry on the sidelines. Go in your locker and cry because the season's over, like we all do. So that was a little bit of a red flag for me. I watched Hard Knocks, and I thought he looked unbelievable. I got hard knocked again. But I'm with you on that. Listen, no, I love a good Manny Petty more than anyone. I go in there every 2 weeks. So I got my girls that take good care of me. But you can't be painting your fingernails as a rookie coming out trying to spin it in the NFL. I hope some of the veteran guys maybe pull him aside and say, but he got an eye-opening, Jay Swish. Like, when he would try to, get out of the pocket like he did in college, those D linemen for the Titans were, boom, right on him. So I think maybe he was humbled a little bit. It was a greasy win for them. And I got to give some love to my boy Baker Mayfield. The poor Cleveland Browns, right? Deshaun Watson, we all know what happened to Deshaun Watson, and it's only one game, and we'll see if he can bounce back. But there's Baker Mayfield in Tampa absolutely slinging it, and now you listen to all the Browns fans are like, Deshaun Watson sucks. They gave him $250 million or whatever it was, and there's Baker Mayfield, who I absolutely love, down in Tampa slinging it. So I wanted to give him some love. Baker Mayfield, another reason I like him is when I was in Vegas for, what was I in there for? Something. Him and his old lady, I saw him going into the Rhino with his wife.
No way.
Oh, yeah. I was like, this is a guy I get behind. This guy I get behind.
I mean, if you're walking in with a +1 to the Rhino, I mean, you're bringing sand to the beach, but I do respect it.
I do respect it that he was bringing his wife in there, right? I mean, hey, listen, why not?
No, I like
why
that.
not? I like that. I can get behind that guy.
Yeah. I mean, I could catch a few from that guy. I trust him.
Yeah, exactly. I can trust him.
Right.
He's in the trust tree with the nest. Are we in the trust tree with the nest? Are we not? Labatt Blue, presented by Labatt Blue Light, the pristine Pilsner. Enjoy your beers together so we can live life to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. Old Chipawa Street, Jay Swish.
Right on the chin of Chipawa Street. They say they're going to close the bar at 4. Well, we'll stay open until 6 if you keep buying them.
Yeah, well said. I love Chippewa Street. Shout out to my boy Scott Bradley, who got married in Buffalo. Me and Richardson went down there for a wedding in the summertime. Unbelievable time on Chippewa. And anytime I went in to play the Sabres, I was always poking my head. Night before a game, I was poking still. If we stayed, I was going down there. If we stayed after the game, I was going down there until they kicked me out. But I love Chippewa Street.
Yeah, choke and poke on Chippewa Street, they say.
By the way, choke and poke. I love when you and Heat Daddy go to the batting cages. I gotta, when it cools down, I gotta maybe come out to Scottsdale and do a little content piece with you guys. Yeah. But I love when you guys get in there and you got the Franklin batting gloves on and you got the big league chew going on. I'm like, these guys are fucking beauties, man. You guys are beauties.
Yeah, that always always went back to my old Little League coach. You'd be sitting on the third baseline. I'd be 0-2 in the count. I'd be like, Schmaltzy, you'd have a big fat lip in. Be like, choke and poke, fella. I'd be like, fucking right. I just got to get my bat on this nugget. We'll get out here. I'll beat it out. I used to have a guy when I played baseball for the Northumberland Whiskey Jacks, Rob Zahner. We lost him a few years ago, but he would always just say, hit the ball where it's pitched, Bubba. Hit the ball where it's pitched, Bubba. I'm like, okay, Zahner. Okay, fella. All right, hit the ball where it's pitched. All right, fella. I'll try to keep my eye on her, but get this guy, Labatt Blue. Patrick Mahomes absolutely slung it, whatever you want to call it, Thursday night. But what I love, Jay Swish, is Xavier Worthy, who, by the way, the Buffalo Bills GM should be fired for the fact that he traded up so the Chiefs could get Xavier Worthy. First TD, who's the first guy to go grab the pigskin for him? Patrick Mahomes gets it, gives it to Worthy. To me, Jay Swish, that is a team guy. Good for Patty Mahomes. Get that guy Labatt Blue. You got to get the first puck or first goal puck. That's National League. Yeah, that's just having spatial awareness, being involved in the game, being in flow state, getting that puck, getting that ball for your guy. Not only probably trying to find him for his first one, but also then having the general awareness to go grab that and say, hey, here you go, fella. Welcome to the league. But mine, Obes, on my end, I did have Aaron Rodgers wrote down. I think that's just a little repetitive, but he did throw his first touchdown in 610 days. So that was awesome. That is my guy. But one guy I want to get him a beer too was Roger Federer. He was showing up to Arthur Ashe this past weekend, and he threw out an Instagram post of his U.S. Open credential. And it said on it, it was his picture, and then it said all access, all room dining, and then just underneath that, it said 5-time champion. I mean, how sick is that? You're walking around with that pass. That's like having the black card and the silver in the back pocket in terms of the Amex. Like, you're dusting them both off. That is National League. 5-time champion. I mean, that guy, he's one of my favorite athletes of all time. Talk about butter. Oh, yeah. And God, he still looks good, doesn't he? He had your outfit on. He had the suit with the nice collared shirt, fucking no tie. His hair looked good. His tan was unbelievable. But yeah, that's the all access pass. That's like, what do you want, that Amex Platinum or you want the black card there? What do you guys want? Pick one. Yeah. Because either way, we're going to have a good night here, boys, so pick one. But right. Jay Swish, way to go tape to tape, D to D hinge, hit the far side. I got to talk about my girl, Ariana. Help me with the name. I'm probably going to butcher it. Sabalenka, there you go. Yep. Listen, I love her. Oh. What a performance. And when she starts getting that forehand going on the baseline, I'm not going to lie to you, Jay Swish. It turns me on a little bit. It gets me going. I got a beautiful girlfriend, Mac Miller, but she'd be okay with me saying it. This girl, I love watching her play tennis. She's been making the rounds in New York, doing all the shows, going out partying. She looks beautiful. Get her a Labatt Blue. She put on an absolute clinic. Yeah, I mean, I watched her in the round of 16, Obes, and it was a late start because a lot of the matches went to 5 that day, and that was the day that Joker lost in 4 to the Paparil, the Australian guy. So I watched Sabalenka. I forget who she played, but it went into the wee hours of the night at Ashe until like 2-3 in the morning, and she actually lost the first set. Now, she went back to the locker room for about 10 minutes, which in tennis time feels like an hour. I don't know if she took a Russian gas. I don't know if she got shot in her ass, but she came back and she started working that girl over like right into the headboard. It was insane. Just top spin, power, heavy forehand, heavy serve. And she's just such a snap show too. Like, she told her coach to fuck off. Yeah. At one point, Obes, she spiked the ball like 40 feet in the air. And then probably like two sets later, or maybe a set later, she like had this freak out where she just yelled fuck at the top of her lungs, and the whole stadium heard her like, ooh. So she's a girl that you would not want to see her wires crossed. And honestly, if whoever's, getting down with her, she's probably tying you up like odd and wedding.
Yeah.
She's going just full take the gears off you.
I actually stole that from you in our group text. You told me that a couple days later we were talking about it. I stole it from you. I said, I let her tie me up like Wedding Crasher style, Vince Vaughn. Listen, she'd be a handful in the wrapper. I mean, her boyfriend who was sitting there, he looks like he can handle it. He's all tatted up.
Yeah.
He wasn't a hockey player, right? I think her ex-husband was.
Or her ex was, yeah. I don't know if it's not, I forget his, not Kozlov, but it was a guy that played for Pittsburgh. He played a little bit in the KHL. Yeah. He was an older guy. He was like 40, 42. But yeah, she's dating some new guy that's like a guy down in Miami that like runs like an acai. He's like the acai bowl company, and he's just, I don't know if he's taking the gears to her. She's probably taking the screw to him.
Yeah, no, it's a give and take in that relationship. I was
going to say, that might be a 50-50 revenue split.
It's a tick for tat there, eh? It's just like, all right, what's going on tonight? Okay, here we go. You went to the U.S. Open, though. It's on my to-do list, fella. It looks unbelievable, especially I would go late night because I want no part of the sun during the day, so I'd be going to those late night matches. Prime time at the Open, as they call it.
Yeah, it was awesome. The last time I was there, I was a kid. I was probably 12 or 13, so obviously you're not, dicing up the honey deuces at that age. But I got in there. I was able to watch a ton of matches. We probably got there at like 4 o'clock, so we watched some doubles matches on some smaller courts, some good matches, a couple other singles matches, and then obviously prime time with Joker and then Sabalenka later. It was unbelievable, Matt. I definitely want to go back next year. I think I'm going to make it an annual trip because there's nothing like Ash late night when everyone's just cockeyed. They're about 10 honey deuces deep. They're getting rowdy. You see a guy, he's got his shirt off. He's up in the 400 level section. I mean, it's just great. It's such a spectacle.
Yeah, and then you just jump right on the train or whatever back into the city and just keep it rocking. Eh?
You go right into the chin of the West Village and you just start shaking it up.
Right to due west, tell Mac L and Loop, say, leave the key, boys. We'll lock up tonight for you fellas. We'll lock up for you. Corey Perry, the Worm. We're lucky to have him on last week. WWE was in Edmonton. And in typical Worm fashion, he just went fucking behind the guy, held his arms, while Kevin Owens could give him a little pop. So, Pears, good on you, fella. Had his kid front row at WWE. Get Corey Perry, Labatt Blue. I love seeing the Worm get involved. I would love to do something with the WWE where you're just getting involved like that.
So was that scripted? They said, hey, Worm, you're sit front row here? Or Corey Perry just acting on total instinct?
Yeah, I think it was Corey Perry acting on instinct. I think they probably, because Kevin Owens is a hockey guy, Canadian guy. So I think he probably caught wind. But Pears, I was texting with Pears. He said it wasn't even planned. It wasn't scripted before anything. It kind of just happened, which makes it even more just Corey Perry Worm style, eh?
Yeah, I mean, that play. It's called the old seatbelt, right? You seatbelt the guy and you just let your buddy just have at him.
Fuck, do I ever know the seatbelt, eh? Nothing wrong with throwing the seatbelt on every now and then.
I could see you putting that little fucking bear claws on a guy, seatbelting him. Holy fuck. Stay away.
I love Pat McAfee, as I'm sure you do, right? You got to love Pat McAfee. I mean, when he gets in the ring in the WWE, first of all, it shows how athletic he is, right? I mean, to jump up on, get on the top rope. And I mean, when he got Stone Cold stuttered when Stone Cold gave him the stunner at WrestleMania and Pat McAfee had the beer coming out of his, I'm like, this guy is just, I mean, how can you not love this fucking guy?
Yeah. That's the goal, right? To be involved in some way of the WWE. That's unbelievable. Monday Night Raw, Smackdown, Royal Rumble. It's all good shit, Obes.
We might have to text Jackie Redmond and say, hey, Jay Swish and Obes need a chance at the tag team title here. Redmond,
I was going to say,
Redmond, can you pull some strings for the boys or what?
I was going to say, I already got a wig guy lined up. We're good that way.
I bet you do. I bet you do. Last but not least, I'll get this guy, Labatt Blue, Kelly Chase. Chaser, you beauty. We absolutely love you here at Missin Curfew, and what else loves him is the city of St. Louis. Inducted to the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. Well-deserved. I saw him at Gaudreaus Ranch a few months ago. He's looking good. I love Chaser, man, and then the city of St. Louis loves him. So Jay Swish, good for him. Talk about a guy who you didn't want to fuck around with. It's Kelly Chase, but get that guy Labatt Blue.
Straight out of Porcupine Plains, Saskatchewan. I just wish as a player I would have spent more time in St. Louis and got to know him a little better because he is the sheriff of that town. He runs it. He lays down the law. And if there's ever a problem in St. Louis with his buddies or even friends of friends, you best be getting a call from Kelly Chase, and he'll let you know. That's one of the coolest things about him is he is loyal to the core, and you don't fuck around if you know or friends with Kelly Chase.
Yeah. And listen, we can go to St. Louis and hang out with Chaser if you want. We'll go to Obi Clark, have a couple there, make a little weekend out of it, fella. We can go do some team building with Chaser and the boys, Tim Peel. Hey, Peeler's not scared of one.
We will get over to the east side, We got to go, let's go get over to the east side and make it watch those bad bitch just dance too. That's pretty get that sexy red out, you know.
Yeah,
I think those strip clubs over there that don't close.
No, I stumbled over there actually my rookie year in Anaheim. The Cardinals won the World Series, and Prongs was buddies with Jim Edmonds, and we went for dinner, and Jim was there, and Prongs obviously went home, and me and Pears and Getsy kind of stayed with Jim Edmonds, and we ended up somehow over on that east side of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And like you said, I remember we got a text halfway through that night or right after dinner and this is not like Randy Carlisle, but we had a team text that practice is canceled. There's only a working at the hotel. So we went from like flashing yellow to let's go. All we got to do is get up for a 10 o'clock workout. Back then we were 23 years old. That was green light special, fella.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That is, especially, I don't think you would ever get out of the east side too for the guys that still go, like, if you're going over there, if you're crossing the river,
yeah, it's a commitment.
You're seeing the sun come up. It's just, it is what it is.
It's a commitment.
It just happens.
Just embrace, just embrace it.
Yeah,
just embrace it.
Right. We can go get a breakfast. We go to Denny's. Get the fucking tremendous 12. We'll go get a deal, baby. We're ready for practice.
The lumberjack slam, whatever they call it. It's the old lumberjack slam. Boys, it's milk carton time here at Missin Curfew. I'm taking somebody off the milk carton here, Jay Swish. And Printzy, you can jump in here. Kulemin. Guy's been out of the league for 6 years. He's 38 years old. As Jay Swish would say, he's been over in Russia with the Russian gas. But he's going on a PTO with the Ottawa Senators. So, Printzy, take Kulemin off the milk carton. We found him. And I can't believe this guy's going to an NHL camp at 38 years old after being out of the league for 6 fucking years.
Like, I just kind of want to know the thought process behind it. Like, I haven't checked his stats or anything in the KHL, but like, what's the thought process in bringing in a guy that was relevant with the Leafs like a decade ago? Let's be like waking up and being like, oh yeah, the Montreal Canadiens have signed Nigel Dawes to a PTO. Like, what are we doing here?
Nigel Dawes, there's a blast. That guy played in Kazakhstan until he was fucking pretty near 40.
Kulemin's got to have some dirt on somebody. Like, there's,
right?
I mean, there's no way. Like, why are we doing a guy a favor that hasn't played in the league in 7 or 8 years or whatever it's been? Like, what's the point of this?
Yeah,
is he going to make our team? Is he going to play in Belleville? Why would Kulemin play in Belleville versus playing back home? Like,
exactly.
What is the science behind this here, boys?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm all about veteran hockey players and letting guys play as long as they can. But also, you're also taking a spot away from a guy that maybe is not going to get as much of a look now because Kulemin's coming in. And like you said, if he does go down to Belleville, as much as I think there should be veterans in the American Hockey League, it's also like this guy's 38. He had a great career, like never won a cup. He's not coming to Ottawa to win a cup. I love my boy Greener. I think they're going to push for a playoff spot. I love Brady Tkachuk. I love Jake Batherson. I think they're going to be I'm going to take them to make the playoffs. But to me, I'm with you, Jay Switch. This one doesn't make sense unless it's just a body that they need at camp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and if truly some scout in Russia saw this guy play, they're like, wow, he could add value as a 12th, 13th forward. Now, I have a hard time believing that, just checking his stats, but I guess you never know. Who knows? It's kind of a funny, random move, something for us to talk about. And as they say in Wedding Crashers, Obes, they're sitting there looking at the Lincoln Memorial. We're not that young.
Yeah.
And it's not it's like he's 38. We're not that young.
That's a great scene. He's like, I don't want to say that we're being immature because that's not the right word, but
yeah.
You know,
you ever think we're being a little bit sleazy?
That's not the word. Maybe a little juvenile. Does he say juvenile? Is that what he goes with? He's like
something like that.
Yeah, maybe a little juvenile. He goes, I bet you that blonde was a real shot of life, though, wasn't she?
He goes, no, we're gonna look back at this and say, one day we're just a couple kids running around. We're not that young.
I watched that movie. You're a fucking beauty. I watched that movie the other day. I was still dying. If you're looking for something to watch here before preseason hockey, throw on Wedding Crashers. Do yourself a favor. Kulemin, good luck at fitness testing, buddy. I'm sure he's still just, hey, Swish, I'm sure he's still just ripped, though, right? Like, he's just going to come in there and probably win the fitness testing. He's been in Russia just lifting everything and doing God knows what. So I'm sure I remember playing against Kulemin. He was a goddamn tank. Like, I remember I tried to take a run at him early in his career. I was like, okay, put that in the old yardage book. Do not take a run at him. Just stick on puck on him, Obes. Knock the wind out of me. I was like, fuck. Go ahead.
He's built like a cigarette machine. He's kind of like that same mold as like a Michael Grabner. Just like don't hit those guys.
A cigarette machine. You remember those old school cigarette machines where you just pull the fucking thing and the smoke?
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever see those anymore? I haven't seen a cigarette machine in, I don't know when, but those were
like you're looking at like Manitoba, Alberta, Wisconsin, North Dakota, maybe on an Indian reservation. That's about it, fella.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Speaking of Gaza Ranch, I went to this right in town there. I went in. Jumped on the boat and went in, and this bar was a great bar, but she was greasy. There might have been a cigarette machine in this bar, actually, now that I think of it. It was so old school in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That there might have been a cigarette machine in there, but that is old school. Milk carton continues here. Jay Swish, you're going to get used to this. I put myself on the milk carton a lot. I'm on there a lot, but who's joining me is Kirk Cousins. When am I going to fucking learn that this guy, even though he's made, I don't know how many bananas, fucking over 500 million bananas, maybe, or maybe not quite that much. I might be overshooting the runway, but the guy's got a nice checkbook. He can wire you any kind of money you need. But once again, I take the hype. He's going into Atlanta. I just thought they were going to, Steelers coming in with, Fields as their quarterback. I forgot that their defense is an absolute wagon, and Mike Tomlin is just an unbelievable coach. But anyways, I'm putting myself and Kirk Cousins on the milk carton. I know he's coming off Achilles, but still I expected more. And when it costs me money, Jay Swish, I got to fire him on there, fella.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a Cousins guy, right? I don't like my quarterback painting his nails. I don't like my quarterback rocking Eddie Bauer. It's just, I just don't like it, I need some swag. I need some fuck you.
Totally.
Never been a Cousins guy. Stay away from any bet with him. He'll kind of, he'll feel your inner groin. He'll make you feel good, but, he's always just going to fuck you, Opes. It just is what it is.
It's a great point by you, and I watched that quarterback show a couple years ago, and he was on there, and he seems like a great guy. I'm sure he's a
nice
great
guy,
great husband, good father, checks all the boxes, but to me, I'm just like, he's not my type of guy. If I'm a GM building a team, I don't want that guy slinging it for me. I need a guy with, like you said, a little more swag and maybe a few more skeletons in the closet. I need a guy that's got a few things that he just can't talk about. He's got to go out there and just perform.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And it goes back to my days at North Dakota with Dave Haxtell. He said, you know what? There's beer drinkers and there's whiskey drinkers, and I like whiskey drinkers. You gotta have a good mix of them. But that's the difference there, Obes. There's the IPA guy, and there's a guy drinking whiskey with you late at night. And Kirk Cousins, well, he ain't drinking that Woodford with you, fella. He's going to bed.
That's true. He's gonna have he's just have a couple cold IPAs or whatever called tonight, where we're just gonna dive into the Crown Royal, keep it rocking, right? We don't even need any more. After a couple Crown and Gingers, just put the ice. We don't even need the ginger anymore. We just pour the Crown. And get it going.
Yep.
Last but not least on my milk carton is the captain of the New York Islanders, Andres Lee. Love him. Great captain. Obviously wasn't a baseball player. Wasn't going to Dick's Sporting Good with Jay Swish and getting the Franklin batting gloves, because he did the first pitch at the Met Stadium. What's it called? City Field.
Not Shea anymore.
Yeah, City Field.
City Field.
He does that City Field. Him and a couple teammates. They go from the ladies' tees, which is okay, because when I threw out the first pitch for Chappie in Toronto, had a late night, the girl said, you can't go to the mound. I said, don't worry about me going to the mound. I'm just worried about bouncing it from the ladies' tees. They go to the ladies' tees, and Andres Lee fucking misses the catcher by, 10 feet. So, fella, I love you as a hockey player. You're a great captain, Notre Dame Fighting Irish, but you're on the milk carton because you got to hit some leather there, Jay Swish. From the ladies' tees, you got to hit some leather.
Especially a guy that was an all-state quarterback, had D1 offers, could have played at Wisconsin as a quarterback. I think even Notre Dame, where he ended up playing college. Andres Lee, fella, get that arm going. Maybe, I don't know if you need the hot pack before, but definitely be more dialed in, especially being the captain of the team. Come on, fella.
Yeah, exactly. Work on that in the offseason, right? Play catch with your kids. I'm sure he's got a couple kids. Play some catch with the kids. Work on that for next year when they bring. Well, actually, after that one, good thing it's not the Yankees, because they wouldn't have brought him back. You would have got booed right out of the Bronx. They would have booed him right out of the Bronx. Remember, obviously it was 9/11, which is a tragedy, but remember when George Bush threw out the first pitch and Jerry, he was down there warming up, he had the bulletproof vest on, and Jeter came by and said, don't bounce it. They'll boo you. Don't bounce it.
Yeah. I watched that clip, Obes, maybe once a month, and I sent it to my buddies because that was so nails. W coming out post 9/11 and throwing an absolute fucking BB right down the cock. That was for America, man.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable. That's one of my favorite clips of all time. W coming out, just giving it one of these. He's got the bulletproof on, and he goes out there and he fucking gives it the circle change up right down the
The old circle change took a little off it. Low in the zone took a little off it. I love the clip too of George W. It is unfortunately again after 9/11, but he's playing golf. He's a member at Preston Trail. Shout out to my boy Billy Quinn. What a track. And the clip is basically, he's like, we do not negotiate with terrorists. We will come back stronger than ever. God bless America. Now watch me hit this drive. And it's him golf, and I'm like, this guy is an absolute beauty. Talk about a guy that'll have a whiskey. George W. will have a whiskey.
That's a good Texan right there, Ropes. Nice conservative, good fellow.
Yeah. Jay Swish, it's Jaeger Iciest Shot of the Week, presented by Jagermeister. Best served at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Damn, that's cold. Check out Jaeger, www.DraftKingsXJagermeister.com. Jay Swish, I'm going to have to send you, we're going to have to send you some balls of this, but cheers, fella. Here's a little Jagger. Damn, that's cold. I'm not going to lie. That's Jay Swish. That's nice. When it comes out of there, just 0 degrees Fahrenheit, that could get you going in Old Town or at the DraftKings social house. You could get high stepping on that Jagger. It's a football heavy show here, boys, but listen, we got no fucking hockey, so we got to talk football. It's Anthony Richardson. Guy is an absolute beast. It was either a 60 or 70-yard pass against the Texans. The D-line, the pocket was crumbling Jay Swish. He hangs on to it, buys time, and throws an absolute missile. Drops it in the bucket. Booyah, touchdown for the Colts. Pat McAfee was going buck diddy in his suite. That is the Jagger iciest shot of the week, or iciest fucking dime pass of the week. What a throw, fella.
Yeah, that was a confirmed dime. And yeah, he just let that thing go and you just trust it, right? Guy get under it, catch it. That's how you draw it up, Obes. That's how you do that, they would say.
Jay Swish, it's rumor mill time here, and I know you are the people's insider. Fella, listen, I had 2 or 3 more, segments for us, but we're feeling good. We're high-stepping here, so unfortunately, this is our last little segment. But rumor mill, the Ducks are beginning to ship Cam Fowler, or I'm talking to him about maybe making a trade from what I saw on X and Instagram. Love Cam Fowler. Also, John Gibson's name has been tossed around. I feel like Gibby's name has been tossed around for the last... I saw him at Getzlau's golf tournament last year, and I said, you know what, dude? I love you. I'm sick of talking about you getting traded. He's like, it's all bullshit. These last 4 years, there's been no fucking trade rumors or no trade talk between me and the Ducks at all. I know he loves Orange County, his beautiful wife, and I believe Gibby's got 3 kids now. So I don't know if he's going anywhere. But Cam Fowler, Jay Swish is where I'm going. Unbelievable Duck. I think it's time. I think it's time for Cam to go play on a team where he has an opportunity. He had some chances early in his career where they went to the Western Conference Finals against the Kings and Blackhawks. But I think it's time for Cam, Pat Verbeek, and the Ducks to maybe find him a home where he can go and chase that Stanley Cup.
I agree. Over 900 matches with the Ducks. They're in a weird stage right now where they probably won't be very good for at least a foreseeable future in the next 2, 3, 4 years. Now, obviously, things can change, but I was actually just told randomly through a team representative with the Ducks, probably about 3, 4 weeks ago now, that Cam Fowler, I think his representatives were even telling maybe management that he might not report to camp. Now, is that probably just a threat?
Ooh.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit of a tactic in terms of, trying to get out of there and speed up the process. But that was the latest, and that was from a reliable source within the team. So it'll be interesting to see where that one goes. I know they're kicking the tires on moving a guy like Zegras as well. That's no secret there. But I just think those 2 guys, I would be shocked if they're Ducks still past, I would say, the new year in terms of looking to part ways with maybe both those guys. Zegras, I think, is a little bit harder to move right now because he did play a ton of hockey last year, and probably teams want to see if he can come out of the gates and be that same player he was maybe his first or second years.
Yeah, listen, Zegras is what do you think about? Listen, Z's a great kid. I got him into a party a couple years ago up in Hollywood. He's texting me, and he just, I'm like, raise your hand, and he was just outside the door, and I went out and grabbed him. He's a good kid, but what do you think about his game? Obviously, tons of skill.
Yep.
I just think he needs to compete a little bit harder at times. But what do you think of him as an American guy?
Yeah, I like the kid. I've actually sent him some butter golf, so I like him on that front. I think he's great for the game. I just think from a playing standpoint, he's not for everyone. Is he for a guy like Patty Verbeek, who played with his nose through the wall, and a coach like Greg Cronin? Probably not. I think those guys would probably like to see him compete more on, away from the puck, and rightfully so. But I do think there is a space in the league for him. I do think he suits the Eastern Conference better than he would the Western Conference. Maybe a team like Montreal would throw a flyer on him.
Yeah.
Marty St. Louis there. I think he coached them a little bit growing up in Connecticut, in the New York area. They do like smaller guys there. I just think maybe the Rangers, the Bright Lights there, something could work. But there's no secret, Obes. If I was a GM or I was a coach, I want this guy competing over the puck. We talked about nose over the puck. He's got to play with his nose over the puck. He's got to work harder and backtrack in different areas. But, the skill is there. I just think he needs to put the full package together, and there's got to be accountability there. And he's also got to buy in, too, at the same time. So maybe a fresh start, he gets that all done.
Yeah, listen, I like where your head's at with the Habs. Rangers I like. Obviously, I don't think there's probably room for him in Jersey, but if you could put him with Jack Hughes and just have him, playing behind Jack, maybe that's a fit for him. I wrote down Philly, but I don't think he could play for old John Tortorella. I don't think he can handle it. But Philly could use his skill. And I think, listen, I think Torch would be great for Z. If Z, listen, it's never going to happen, but I think Torch would be great for Z if he could handle it. But those are some teams, and I like where your head's at too. Get him on the East Coast. He's more comfortable there. He's an absolute beauty. I mean, he's dating this TikTok star Rocket, right? I mean, he's living the dream off the ice. He just needs to find his game. But look at this is the Ducks lineup right now. I mean, I want your opinion. This is sneaky okay to me. Alex Cahorn, love him, killer, 2-time Stanley Cup champ, unbelievable golfer, good dude. Carlson, Terry, Carter Gauthier, Zegers, Petrano, Fabry, McTavish, and Strome are their top 9. To me, on paper, that sounds okay to me. Now, obviously, Zegers has got to take the next step. Carlson, the same thing. I love Mason McTavish, but Jay Swish, that to me, I've seen worse top 9s around the Western Conference and Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I think it's not bad, Obes. I think it's a little bit of a mixed bag of kind of just random wrenches a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you got a guy like Vetrano, I think he's on an expiring deal. Fabry's a good player. He's a good friend of the show with me. I came up with him, so I liked his game.
Great guy.
You have a guy like Zegers. Strome, too. I just think there's a lot of kind of just random pieces. Now, they're pretty good pieces, but does that fit into a puzzle and, have cohesion? And are we going to actually build something around this? Or is this just, we'll see in April and we'll be going to Pebble Beach. And then actually, fellas, I got Pinehurst lined up after that. I actually booked it before training camp because I knew we weren't going to make the playoff, So it's like, is it one of those years or is it actually something?
I've been on those teams, boys. I got Coachella passes, artist passes already, Sprinter vans dialed. So let's just get through these last couple months here. Nobody break a fucking foot so you can't do some dancing and enjoy yourself. But I got Coachella parlayed with Cabo lined up. We got Billy Quinn's house, boys. So let's just nobody get hurt here for the last 2 months.
Yeah. We're at the All-Star break. I know, fella, but these backstage passes, I couldn't pass up on them.
Jay Swish, I had a 1,500 a guy, but we can go anywhere. We go anywhere, chicks everywhere, buddy. Don't worry. It's going to be worth it, fella. It's going to be worth it. But listen, Jay Swish, we'll get you out here. Shout out to my boy Dennis Shannon, has 3 seats, first row, right in the corner besides the Ducks net. So me and you, we can go down there, do a little pre-scout, and then we'll get a real feel for the Ducks Hockey Club, and we can snap it around.
They should mic us up for one of those games like we did in Mullet Arena. That would be hilarious.
Listen.
I'll get the wig.
Yeah, you guys I don't even know if I can, but we might have to get you and the Heat Daddy down there for that. Because you guys, I don't know if I could keep up with you guys. That was legendary content as well. But Jay Swish, listen, fella, I could do this all day with you. I appreciate you joining the Missin Curfew family, buddy. You're a pro. Keep up the hard work. It was an absolute pleasure. 72 minutes, boys. We could keep going, couldn't we?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a great first game. And if we need overtime, boys, I'm here. So, whatever you need. I got good lungs over here. Iron lungs, eh?
I appreciate it, buddy. So enjoy that. And Kyle, Morgan, Printzy, good having you in the studio. Fellas, that was Missin Curfew.